every month. The next session is planned for February 10th, and there'll be an announcement going out. Let me tell you a little bit about Dr. Janson. Dr. Janson has almost 30 years experience as a physical therapist. She is board certified in geriatric physical therapy and understands how the aging process impacts balance and falls risk. The majority of her clinical experience is in home health care, which includes home safety assessments and falls prevention instruction. She is also an adjunct professor in the Department of Physical Therapy at Marymount University. And let me turn it over to Dr. Janson. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's great to see everybody. It's great to be back. I really enjoyed these classes last year when we started them, and was sad to see them get interrupted. But it's great to be back, and I'm glad that everybody has the Zoom capability to do it. I was telling your administrator that we're using Zoom a lot in the clinic. We are doing a lot of telehealth physical therapy. So I'm quite familiar with the technology, but this is the first time that I'm doing a whole group exercise class. So hopefully everything will go smooth. I think it'll work best if we leave questions kind of towards the end. I think it'll go a little bit smoother. You can jot them down in the chat, and then I'll make sure I leave some time at the end if anybody has any questions. Before we get started, hopefully everybody does have a chair available. We're going to do some things sitting in the chair, and then we're going to do a variety of things in standing. It's best if the chair does not have wheels. If that's the only chair you have is a desk chair with wheels, I will make some comments as we go along just to make sure that we're safe. Normally we would want to have a chair that's like a dining room chair, or one that's not going to have the potential to roll away from you. So if anybody wants to make a quick switch and get a different chair, that would be fine, or we'll make some modifications. As we go along, if any of the exercises are painful or seem too difficult, don't feel like you have to do all of them. Feel free to skip one. The way I have the view set up is I'm seeing myself, but I'm not seeing everybody like I was when we did this in person, when I could kind of scan the room and see what everybody was doing. So again, if something doesn't feel good, or if a particular exercise is painful, hurts a knee joint or a hip joint, feel free to skip that particular exercise. And then let me know, at the end. I can always, next time when we meet, I can modify things as well. Okay, so is everybody ready to get started? Good. All right, so just like we did last year when we met, we're going to for deep breathing. What we're going to do is we're just going to sit nice and straight, and we're going to take a deep breath in through the nose and blow it out through the mouth, and blow it out like you're blowing a whole bunch of candles on a birthday cake. So a nice long blow. When you're breathing in, make your chest stick out, and then a nice blow out. Let's do a couple more of those. Nice deep breath in. Two more times. And last one. And deep breathing is a nice little warm-up thing to do before any type of exercise. And actually, now that we're living in a world where there's a pandemic with a virus that affects our respiratory system, having your respiratory system be in peak shape is not a bad thing. So anything where we just once a day before exercise or a way to start off the day, some nice deep breaths, stretch those lungs out, is something that we're recommending for all our patients, especially those over 65. Okay, so another warm up that I'd like to do is I'd like to just practice rolling the shoulders. Again, make sure you're sitting up nice and straight. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. And let's do that again. Sit up nice, good posture. Roll your shoulders. You see how I'm rolling them backwards. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good. Posture is so important when it comes to balance. You know, a lot of us as we age, gravity gets a hold of our head and it kind of pulls us into this forward posture. That impacts how well we're balanced. So anything that we can do to kind of help counter that, there's lots of benefits to that, but especially for your balance, working on some of those exercises that keep our posture upright. So along with that, let's do the next exercise that we call a chin tuck. And this one, what you're going to do is you're going to bring your chin straight back and forward, and back and forward. Remember, sit up nice and straight, tuck that chin, and forward, and 4. So it's actually going to make a double chin when you do it. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Perfect. You might feel a little stretch or a little pull at the top of the neck, and that's okay. That's just helping to straighten that spine out. And one more warm up kind of posture exercise. This one, we're just squeezing the shoulder blades together. So just bring your arms back, squeeze those shoulder blades. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good. Everybody feeling okay? Good. Okay. So now what we're going to do is a little flexibility exercises with our feet. Believe it or not, our ankles play a key role in how balanced we are. And flexibility in the feet is something that we naturally lose as we age. So we want to make sure that we're doing some exercises to try to maximize that. So let me see if I can get my camera just right so you can see my feet. The first one that we're going to do is just pump your ankles up and down. 3, 4, 5, 6. Really focus on lifting the toes as high as you can. Do them nice and slow, like I'm doing. Don't rush this. And 20. Good. And now we're going to do an ankle circle. So you're going to hold your leg up. Some people like to cross their leg. It's a little easier sometimes. And you're going to make a circle with your foot. So let's circle 10 times one direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then 10 times the other direction. See how it's just my foot? It's not the whole leg. Just my foot is making the circle. If your circle doesn't look like a perfectly smooth circle, don't worry about it. This is something that if you practice this regularly, it will get better. Go again the other direction. Great exercise to do if you're watching the news, which there's a lot of these days. Easy to sneak this one in. Same with the other direction. Okay, let's try that on the other foot. 10 times one way. 10 times the other way. Again, switch directions. And the other direction. Perfect. Okay, now I'd like everybody to stand up and either hold on to the back of your chair. And I know I'm in a rolling chair here, but again, it would be better if it wasn't a rolling chair. Or if you have your computer on a table or on a desk, just hold on to the table. And you're going to put your feet, you're going to stagger your feet. And you're just going to lean forward to stretch the back of that calf. So try to keep your heel down and lean forward. And we're going to try to hold that for about 30 seconds. You can have your hands on the back of the chair or on the table. And 30 seconds is a long time. What we find in the clinic, oftentimes people do not hold a stretch long enough. So I'm actually looking at the clock here, and this has been 30 seconds on the one leg. Now we're going to switch, and same thing. You can keep the knee straight or you can bend it a little bit, but try to keep the heel on the ground. So if you can't lean in quite as far as I can, if you're more back here, that's okay, but keep the heel on the ground. And good, that's 30 seconds on the other side. So those are 3 exercises that really help with that flexibility in the ankles, which again is key, especially for uneven terrain, which we all know what the sidewalks are like around here. They are not level. So our ability for our feet to make those adjustments on ground that's not even requires to have that good flexibility. So everybody doing okay? Good. We'll move on to the strengthening part. And the first one that we're going to do, and this is again one that I'd like you not to be in a chair with wheels. If you are, if that's the only chair you have, maybe turn the chair around and push it Like I'm pushing mine up against a filing cabinet, or turn it around so that it's against the desk so that it doesn't run the risk of rolling away from you. And what we're going to do for this first exercise is all we're going to do is we're going to stand up and slowly sit back down. I want you to try to do it without using your arms, but if you have to use your arms, feel free. 3. If this hurts your knees, please skip this one. 4. 5, not too fast, nice and slow, especially on the going down. 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good, very good. This is actually one of the top exercises recommended by the CDC in their fall prevention literature, is just practice this 10 times, once a day, getting up and down repeatedly from a chair without using your arms if you can, is a great way to strengthen the large muscle groups in the legs that help with balance. Again, if this one is painful in the knees, you can modify this one. We won't do it right now, but just to show you real quick, you could do a little knee bend, holding on to the back of the chair or a table. That might be a little bit more comfortable on the knees if getting up and down from the chair hurts. And if you notice, boy, I couldn't get out of my chair without pushing up with my arms. That's something that we as therapists look at as kind of an indicator. There's not enough strength in the legs. Maybe we really need to be more concerned about people's safety with their walking. So that's something, if you're really struggling with that, if you really notice, like, boy, I really have to push myself up, maybe talk to your doctor about that, and we could maybe get an order to see you individually for therapy. Okay, now we're going to stand up again with holding onto your table or the back of the chair. And this next exercise is a heel raise. There's 2 ways you can do it. Let me show you your options. You can either stay on both feet and go up onto your toes, or if you wanted to try a little bit more difficult, stand on one leg. So I'll go ahead and do the one leg. Here we go, 10 times. 1, 2. Do hold on to something for this one. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now I'm going to do it on the other leg. If you're doing it on both feet, just go ahead and do another set of 10. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then the next one, we're going to stay in the same position. Now we're going to lift our toes. And it's okay that I'm rocking back a little bit, but you don't want to go way back. So try to keep your body up nice and straight and see if you can get your toes up like so. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, now we're going to go back up onto our toe. Raise your heel, either on both legs or on one. 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, 9, 10. And the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And let's do another set of 10 of rocking back onto your heels. And 10. Excellent. Okay. Everybody doing okay? We're going to stay standing for the next one. And this one, I'm going to have kind of an imaginary chair in front of me so you can see me. You can actually have the chair next to you as well. So chair either in front or table in front or chair to the side. And we're going to just swing the leg out to the side. 1, 2, 3. The key is to keep our upper body nice and still. I don't want to see leaning like this. So nice and straight. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I want you to hold, but I want you to hold as little as possible. Don't put a ton of weight on your arms. Other leg. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. Let's try it again with the right leg. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And same thing with the left leg. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Perfect. Okay, let's everybody sit back down. That particular exercise works the muscles on the side of the hips, key muscles for balance. It's a great one if you're in the kitchen waiting for something to heat up in the microwave. You've got a nice stable surface you can hold on to. Easy one to sneak in, or you're waiting for a piece of toast or something like that, just to make that part of your daily routine. We'll do a sitting one next. And let's, for this one, all we're doing for this one is nice straight posture. We're straightening one leg up, hold it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and down. So nice and slow. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The slower you do these, the more you make that muscle work. And 10. And now we're going to switch to the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. For some of you, it may be hard to get the leg all the way straight. If your leg only goes about this far because you're a little bit tighter in the hamstrings, that's fine. Don't worry about that. We're going to do again the right leg. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Good, and then the same thing on the left. 2, 3. If you have small ankle weights at home, you could certainly do this with a 2 or 3 pound weight. 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay. And since we're seated, we're going to go ahead and do our second set of 10 of the one that we started with, our standing up and slowly sitting back down. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good. Everybody looks great. Nice job. All right, we have one more strengthening exercise before we move on to some of our balance exercises. So this last one, again, you're going to be standing, holding on to the back of your chair or your table. And this one, all you're doing is swinging your leg behind you. Notice how I'm keeping my back nice and straight. I'm not doing this. I'm not rocking forward. So back stays nice and straight. Even if your leg only moves just a couple inches, that's fine. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Try that with the other leg. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Back to, I started with my left, so I'm going back to the first leg. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And the other leg. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So we've just done strengthening exercises. We focused on the muscles on the side. We focused on our buttock muscles. We focused on our quadriceps. Those are sort of the main muscles around the hips and knees for balance. And then we focused on the ankles with our raising up and rocking back. So we're kind of covering all the major muscle groups that we need for balance. Now we're going to practice some different things that specifically target balance. Because in addition to having good strength and good flexibility, the parts of the brain that are responsible for balance need to be challenged to stay really good at it. So these next things are more challenging. Please feel free to hold on to a chair or the table if you need a little extra assistance. If you're able to do it without holding, that's perfectly good as well. And the first thing I want to try today are 2 yoga poses. I'm not a yoga expert by any means, but I've started doing it a little bit more just for something to do during the pandemic. And I find that there are things, whether it's yoga, Tai Chi, that really carry over nicely for fall prevention. So as we go through the next couple months, I'm going to try to pull from some of those different disciplines as well. So the first pose is a warrior 1 pose. And let me get the... So what you're going to do is you're going to take a step forward and you're going to have your arms up in the air. Let me see if I can have my screen. And we're going to try to just hold that. And again, if you need to hold the chair with one arm, that's fine. Just try to hold that position. And some of you may be better yoga participants and actually see some problems with my form. But remember, with all of these, it doesn't have to be perfect for it to be effective. Good. Now let's try it with the other leg forward. Again, arms up in the air and hold it. If you feel your ankles wobbling a little bit, that's not a bad thing. That's your body's way of keeping balance. Good. And then the warrior 2 pose is just basically the lunge with your arms out to the side. And again, we're holding this. And if you feel you can't lunge quite so far or that hurts your knee and you want to make it a little bit smaller, still a nice balance exercise. Okay, come back to the middle. Let's try that to the other side. Okay, and back to the center. Very good. Now what I'd like everybody to do with their chair or table by their side is I'd like you to put your feet together. And if you're comfortable just standing with your feet together like this, if you say this is easy, you can make this a little bit harder and go ahead and close your eyes. You don't have to if you don't feel steady just in this position, but keep your eyes closed. We're going to try to hold that about 30 seconds. Very good, very good. And step out, open your eyes back up. So anytime we do an exercise where we close our eyes, we're really relying on our inner ear system to help our balance. So we're challenging that system. Now the next one that I'd like you to do is I'd like you to put one foot in front of the other. Please keep your eyes open for this one. But see if you can maintain that. So it's like you're on a balance beam, one foot in front of the other without holding. This is not an easy exercise most people over the age of 65 do have to hold with one hand for this. We're trying to hold that for about 30 seconds. Again, you'll feel your feet wobbling a little bit. And let's try it with the other foot forward. See if we can hold that without holding on. But if you really feel wobbly, please hold on with one hand. Nice job. And if you watch the video and you want to work on this, but it's really challenging, rather than putting one foot completely in front, you could do sort of what we call a semi-tandem, so that it's still forward, but not perfectly in front, still challenging, still try to do that with a little hand assist as possible. Let's try it one more time. So we'll do right foot in front, try to hold it. This would be harder if you're doing it on a soft padded carpet, would be more difficult as compared to a firmer floor surface. And switch feet. Or if you have some nice comfortable shoes that have that memory foam inside, this is a little bit harder with that cushioning in the shoes than in a firmer shoe. Okay, nice job, everybody. And then the last balance one that we're going to do is, again, have your chair nearby. I want you to pick one foot up if you're comfortable. Try to let go and balance on one leg. And even if you lift up and you only hold it for like 2 seconds like this, and then you have to put it back down, it still challenges those balance centers. If you're able to hold it longer, that's terrific. And even if you feel, no, I'm more comfortable holding, that's fine. Let's try it on the other leg. Stand on one leg. Don't be surprised if you're better on one side than the other. Just like we're right-handed or left-handed, we all have one leg that we stand on a little bit better. I'm noticing on me, it's harder to do this on the right. I feel my foot wobbling a lot more. Good, let's try it again on the other leg. And again, if you lose it, just put your foot down and then try again. It doesn't have to be a continuous hold like this for it to be effective. Good, and we'll switch legs again. And remember, just a little bit off the ground. It doesn't have to be way up here, that's much harder. But I also don't want you to brace your leg against the other. In the clinic, we call that cheating. So just about an inch or two off the ground. Good, okay, very good. Let's all sit back down a second. If anybody needs a drink of water or just a quick break. And that practicing standing on one leg is something that I recommend for all my patients to try to just make part of their day. Whether you do it in the morning as you're trying to brush your teeth, or again, if you're waiting in the kitchen for something, or if you're waiting for the elevator, if just doing that, trying to maintain the ability to, for short periods, balance on one leg is a huge step towards fall prevention. It's an easy exercise to kind of work into the day, that gives you a lot of bang for your buck. The last thing that I'd like to do is a little endurance exercise. So the last thing that we're going to do today is we're going to do some marching in place. If we had been able to meet at the church like we did last year, I would have you actually walk for this. I just read a study that just came out where they took seniors and they had them walk for 6 minutes. That's all, just a 6-minute walk. And they did a little screening tool and they found that just walking 6 minutes elevated people's mood and allowed them to be better at problem solving of cognitive tasks. So I thought that it wasn't a huge study, not a ton of people, but still a nice takeaway that all you need is a 6-minute walk to feel better. And especially, during the pandemic when we're not able to get out as much, if you can, up and down the hall in an apartment building, or if you're able to get outside, try to get those short walks in. So what we're going to do to finish up is we're going to do some marching in place. It's a nice endurance activity that also works on your balance. And we're going to do this for 2 minutes. And if you can, try to bring your legs up nice and high. You see how I'm bringing them, my knees are almost coming up to my waist. If you don't feel comfortable going that high, that's fine. If you can do it without holding, even better. If you wanted to really make it vigorous and swing your arms with it, you can do that as well. So here we go. I'm going to look at the clock and we're going to do this for 2 minutes. And if you get tired and need to stop and sit, by all means do. Because we're just coming up on 1 minute right now. And we got 15 more seconds. Good. Let's rest a second. You can stay standing or you can sit back down before we do that again here in a second. That's also an easy one. Again, if you're watching a program on TV during the commercial break, try to get up, do that marching. You get multiple benefits from one exercise. When you're lifting your legs, especially if you're lifting them nice and high, you're shifting weight from one leg to the other. And that's the key for balance, is to be able to do that weight shift. You're getting your heart rate up. It's going to help elevate your mood. I'm breathing a little heavy myself now from that. All right, do people feel, let me get it on the view where I can see everybody. Do people feel like they could try that again, that march? People have some energy left? Yes? Okay. All right. This will be good. This will be the last thing then. Here we go. Okay. So we're marching again. Good, coming up on 1 minute. Again, if you feel like you need to sit down, feel free. Also for the march, if you're more comfortable holding on, that's perfectly fine. Good, we got about 30 seconds to go. Excellent. Nice job, everybody. Okay, I hope everybody feels a little bit tired. I know I do. And hopefully people felt like they got something out of it. Again, we kind of focused on the main things that we need. We need posture, we need flexibility in our feet, we need strength, and then we need to challenge our balance system, which is when we were doing those things like standing on one leg. If anybody has questions, probably be easiest to put them into the chat. I have about 7 minutes till my next patient gets here. So I'm welcome to stick around. If anybody has any questions about anything. Remember our clinic is open and we are seeing a lot of people via telehealth. If people are reluctant to come to the clinic in person, if you've had falls and would really like more individualized therapy, we can certainly see you in the clinic, but we could also see you via telehealth because it looks like you're all Zoom experts. So we found that we can be quite effective seeing people virtually.
Thank you very much. I know you have to run, so I'll race right through to the questions, but I do want to quickly note that we have 3 more of these programs coming up in the coming months. I will put that in the email to each of you, but there's once a month on, I believe, the second Wednesday of the month throughout the next 3 months. And we'll put that out in the email so you can register for those as well. I know a couple people came unmuted and probably have questions, but I wanted to ask a couple from the chat real quick. A question on how do I keep my head up instead of bending forward while walking? A posture question.
Right. So most likely there you have some weakness in the back muscles. So some of those things that we started with in the beginning, like those chin tucks or squeezing your shoulders together, would be a place to start to see if you could get the back a little bit stronger. You know, it's hard to know exactly without seeing you one-on-one how much of that curvature of the spine is kind of fixed. Sometimes that happens is as we age, if we've had a lot of bending forward, sometimes the spine kind of gets stuck that way. But even trying to stand against a wall with our back against a wall, trying to bring everything back to straighten our back up would be another way to try to improve that.
There was a question on if you only have time for one thing, if you're in a rush, what would it be?
Well, like I said, that 10 times sit to stand is probably one of the top exercises just because it gets those main muscle groups. So that's an easy one if you only had a little bit of time. Or practice standing on one leg while you're doing something else, right? Exercise doesn't necessarily need to be something that you set separate time for, but if you're brushing your teeth anyway, if you're waiting for an elevator anyway, sneak it in. Try to stand on one leg.
I know a couple people came unmuted. Do you have questions? I can ask more from the chat, but anyone from the gallery? Oh, there was a comment from Jenny
Could I
saying,
just ask a personal thing?
sure.
Yeah. I'm on voice now. Yeah. So just say to Jenica that I am still doing my arm and upper arm and shoulder exercises.
Oh, good. I'll let her know.
daily.
Okay.
There was a rather personal question from Carol here. Is it okay if I give let them know that they can email you or something like that if they have more? This is a very personal question, I thought.
Sure,
Yeah.
but I'm not ashamed.
Okay. If you'd like to ask it, you can ask it, Carol.
Okay, but my right ankle has been surgically fused to correct charcot and certain other problems. And the
Mhm.
circle I can do is only about like 2 inches. And I wondered if it's worth doing anyway.
Yes, it's
Okay.
still worth doing it. Even if your range of motion is never going to be, you know, a nice big circle because the fusion, but even a circle that's 1 inch in size, Carol, you're still strengthening all those muscles around your ankle. So it's still beneficial to do that.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much. I know you have to run to the next meeting. I don't know if Nadia wants to say a quick word, but I do hope you'll join us at one of our events over the coming months.
I just want to say thank you very much and come back February 10th for round 2.
Yeah, do we know if it's going to be at 2:30 again?
Yes, it is.
I'll put it on my schedule right now and I'll look forward to seeing everybody next month. And we'll do, you know, some of it will be similar, but I'll try each month to throw in some different things just to keep it a little bit varied as well.
Thank you.